Hi, I'm the Malt activist, and today we're going to Ireland with Connemara 12 PEATED. So, full disclosure, I'm not a huge expert on Irish whiskies. I mean, of course, I've had my share, the red breasts and the Teeling and some of this Connemara, as well as Jameson and Green Spot and all the others. But not in so much depth, and just sort of drank them in passing. Red Breast is one of my favorite whiskeys, as is Teeling. Their single grain cask strength is also a lovely dram. And as far as Connemara is concerned, this is the only one I've ever tasted. This 12-year-old peated single malt Irish whiskey, which is interesting because that means it's made like a Scotch, using fully malted barley, as opposed to traditional Irish whiskies, which are pot still or single pot still whiskies made from a mix of malted and unmalted barley. So this uses, completely malted barley, hence it's single malt. And I wanted to find out where the peat is from. And even though I know Ireland has a fair amount of its own peat, it doesn't mention that this is Irish peat. So I suspect it's Scottish peat, and they're just too ashamed to put it on the label. I don't know. So yeah, aged for 12 years, peated. As you can see, I've had a little bit from here, not a lot. I remember liking it. Quite pale, very pale, extremely pale. I want to say this is Islay peat. I'm getting a similar sensation, like I'm getting a similar feeling from within that I think this is Islay peat. I could be wrong, completely wrong. But it's definitely very fruity. In fact, almost like tropical fruity. Mangoes, bananas, jackfruit. But then a confectionery sweetness as well. Hard-boiled sweets, butterscotch, vanilla. The peat is extremely mild, and it's not smoky at all actually. It's just a very, very mild peat. The nose is pleasant enough, as you would expect from most Irish whiskies. Is it bordering on one-dimensional? Sure. It's certainly quite pleasant. I can't think of an off note here. So yeah, perfectly adequate nose, even if it's just slightly, one-dimensional. But nothing wrong with it. Okay, little weak on the palate. Another 3, 5, 6% would have definitely helped. I think it's too watered down at 40%. Quite sweet in the beginning, similar fruity notes that came in, and then the sort of peat and the oak came in towards the end. The finish is nice, long and warming. Again, very fruity. So overall, a decent whiskey, quite fruity, with a hint of that mysterious peat. I don't know if it adds that much of character to this particular whiskey. I'm trying to think, what if it was unpeated? How different is it from an unpeated version of this? I don't really know, because the peat is quite subtle, and it's almost sort of there in the background. But again, yeah, adequate whiskey in my opinion. Definitely one-dimensional on the palate. Even if it was slightly complex on the nose, on the palate, it's definitely one-dimensional. More on the sweeter side, more on the fruitier side. I'm really struggling to get anything of note out of this from the palate. Quite happy to stay sort of on that one-dimensional road. So I guess, yeah, I'm okay with that. Does this make for an exciting and interesting whiskey? No, it does not. Is it something that I wouldn't mind having for breakfast? Definitely. This is what I would market it as. Start your day with a Connemara 12 peated. It's not going to knock you over. Just put you in a good mood. Will go really well with your ham and eggs. So like I said, very adequate whiskey. There's nothing too remarkable. I think it's quite cheap as well. Definitely something I would buy, to put on my shelf. Largely because I'm curious about Irish whiskies, and I want to know more. In fact, if you know someone who wants to get into single malt whiskeys, then this is a really, really good one to start them off with. It's quite pleasing on the palate, uncomplicated, and a nice sort of window into the world of single malt whiskeys. That's what I would recommend this for. Thank you for joining me. I'm the Malt Activist. Until next time.